of growth.
Welcome to Future of Growth, the special podcast series designed for Tamil Nadu's Global Investor Meet, where we bring insightful conversations with dynamic leaders shaping the future of industries. In today's episode, we are honored to have Dr. Lakshmi Venu, Director TAFE and Managing Director Sundaram Clayton Limited, a prominent figure at the intersection of engineering, business, and youth leadership. In this episode, we delve into her insights on youth leadership, entrepreneurship, and the transformative role of young professionals in traditional industries, from balancing innovation with tradition to fostering collaboration and mentorship. Hello, ma'am. I want to set the momentum of this podcast with my first question on how has Tamil Nadu as a state supported the business journey of TAFE and Sundaram Clayton Limited?
Being located in Tamil Nadu, founded in Tamil Nadu, it's surely been a big part of our strength in the market in a whole host of ways. I think the first is that right through the last many decades, Tamil Nadu has always had a very fundamentally industry-friendly, pro-industry policy. We have always been quite proactive as a state in staying ahead of the curve, in making sure that we are leading in reforms. Also, we've always had a highly educated and skilled workforce. This continues to be true. We have quite a diverse skilled workforce in the national context as well. So this is something we're continuing to invest and nurture. So as two technology and engineering-based companies in the state, it's been great from an R&D perspective and very, very strong from the manufacturing perspective as well. So I think being in Tamil Nadu has surely been one of the big strengths for us.
Addendum to my earlier question, how has this journey been even in volatile and uncertain times?
Particularly in a VUCA world, stability in policy is a very big strength. And we're fortunate to be in a state that is both stable and proactive when it comes to policy.
Yes, indeed. Ma'am, in a traditional industry like yours, which is dealing with agriculture, how does design and innovation play a role?
Agriculture today is waiting for innovation. I think the time is ripe for a very tech-driven green revolution. Today, I think the time is definitely ripe for a second green revolution, and one that is intensely technology-led. Though it is considered a traditional sector, it's facing a whole host of new challenges. Climate change is causing challenges in water availability in parts. Labor is moving away from agriculture more into other areas, and the condition of our soil is also changing. We in India, we're very fortunate and proud to have achieved food security, but we do have to continue to meet a growing population and also one whose nutritional preferences are changing. So given all of this, it is the time for innovation. We need precision implements to use our inputs well. We need a lot more mechanization coming out of implements above and beyond the basic procedures. So now we see precision planters, we see balers. In speaking to things like water conservation, we see laser levelers that keep the ground even, gaining popularity. So I think there is a lot that can be done, even in the first horizon, in terms of what implements we use, how these implements are designed, sensors for precision agriculture, and other inputs like irrigation as well. On the other end of the tech spectrum, it's an exciting time. Recently at Agritechnica in Europe, we at TAFE, we had showcased our electric vehicle, a hydrogen-powered tractor, speaking to sustainability, which will increasingly become critical. We also showcased our TAFE Terra, which is an integrated smart agri ecosystem, which integrates multiple precision farming solutions. We have a GPS-based auto steer with telematics and advanced farm management tools integrated into this TAFE Terra solution to enhance the efficiency, the productivity, and ultimately the profitability for the farming community. In Tamil Nadu, we're really very well placed to lead this innovation. We have some of the most knowledgeable, digitally savvy, and technically very, very well-read customers as farmers in our state. We also have the educated engineering pool that is coming out of universities here, based here, who are ready to work on projects to innovate for the agri space. So we're really well placed on both counts to become a hub for engineering innovation for agriculture and to lead a kind of second green revolution that should impact the entire nation. I'll give you two interesting examples of this innovation coming out of our state. We recently had a contest we ran nationally, and our winner and our runner-up were from Tamil Nadu. She did, yeah. To say, the whole concept was to say what are some innovative solutions customers could think of that met their needs coming out of a very interesting product we recently launched. The winner had a problem in his dairy. He didn't have enough labor, and the quality of labor in terms of their hygiene affecting the cow, ultimately milk production. So he has created and demonstrated an automated milking machine that can run on one of our tractors, which was quite fabulous to see. We had our runner-up who's very young, who's also come up with a fantastic innovation that he's ready to, I think, take to the next level. And to see that kind of innovation come out of our customers and with the partnership of engineering companies, I think it can really explode.
On that note, where you mentioned about both your winners being from rural India, how do you see rural India changing aspirations of rural youth and entrepreneurship in India's growth story?
To me, this is really amongst the most exciting things happening in India, and one that we don't often hear as much as we ought to about. As I'm traveling in rural India today, I come back with double the energy because you see the possibility in front of your eyes, and absolutely the time is now. Because you see on one hand, the connectivity. There's been a step jump. And formal education aside, in addition to that, there's also a leap in the knowledge levels that this connectivity provides. If you look at rural India, more than half the youth want to be entrepreneurs, which is well above the global average in a similar context. You see the kind of solutions they're providing. They're able to today find their market, discover their price, try a new business model, try a new innovation. And in fact, the Gaja Book Prize, I'm on the jury of that book prize, our winner this year is exactly about the entrepreneurship that is coming from this part of India and addressing the needs of this part of India. So it's quite an exciting time. Half our graduates today in India are also from a rural background. So I think we can see a lot of businesses now coming from semi-urban and rural centers. A lot of graduates from these areas feeding into this business. And as we look at India, hopefully moving into a number 3 position globally, we will need the rural growth story to be powerful, to be vibrant. And today in India, we want an equitable growth, not an urban-centric growth alone. So rural India is going to be, according to me, the place to be, the place to watch.
How important is sustainability for an industry like yours, which is rooted in agriculture?
Thank you. That's one of the issues that actually we spend a lot of time thinking about internally as well. And we look at sustainability, being in agri especially, in a very holistic manner. One is, how do we make our products? So we particularly have a thrust on looking at sustainable energy in our business, other initiatives as well, like water conservation, recycling, etc. The second is, how do we, what kinds of products are we choosing to design? What kind of implements? For example, this laser leveler I was just mentioning, that is quite critical on water conservation. Because if you have a flat field, you actually waste very little water. You utilize your water much, much better. If you look at some precision agriculture, you're also using your inputs in a very strategic manner, which helps in a number of ways. So really, what are the kinds of implements that we are also working to develop, popularize, is something that we think quite a lot about. And the third is CSR. Our community is the farming community. We started J Farm in Chennai in the 60s. And one very big arm of what we do is to look at adaptive research. that very much sustainability is one of the aspects that feeds into that research, conserving our inputs, looking at our soil health. The second is in popularizing this through partnering on extension services, NGOs, direct programs, working with different groups to say, how do we popularize sustainable farming practices, not just mechanized ones. We are a country of small farmers. So we also look at saying, how do we work with small farmers on what is a very holistic and sustainable approach to farming that works for their productivity, that works for their prosperity, and for our country's sustainable farming.
I need to tell my listeners once again that Ms. Lakshmi Venu is efficiently double-hatting two industries. We did talk now about TAFE, which had to do with agriculture. Now we are shifting it to her next organization, which is Sundaram Clayton Limited. Ma'am, in this rapidly evolving automotive industry, how does Sundaram Clayton stay at the forefront of innovation and technological advancement? And what role do young leaders like you play in this journey?
For us at SCL, technology and deep technological expertise has always been our core strength. We've invested in it right from the beginning. We're a metallurgy company, so we really invest in the science of it. Our approach has been that it is human capital who creates knowledge and human capital that creates innovation. So first we need to consistently invest in our human capital across the board. So we do collaborate with a number of universities, best-in-class universities globally across the US, Germany, India, of course. We have a center at IIT Madras as well for alloying and metallurgy. And we work to make sure that our team members at all levels continuously upgrade their knowledge, their skill sets, bring innovation to these collaborative environments and bring some back as well. So that's really been our approach, is to invest in our people. When we look at youngsters, I think leaders of all levels have a role to play in innovation. Not only the seniors, but across the board. And if you want to create a collaborative environment in the company, it must involve our team members of all experience categories, because sometimes you need depth of experience and sometimes you need a lateral idea that comes from somebody who's looking at it really quite afresh. So that's a culture that we do foster, and I'm very proud to say we have patents that are made in India, housed in India, and in mass production today, giving us quite an edge in the market.
Coming to the most hot topic today, on skill development. You did make a mention about how, you have centers at IIT which are supported by your organization. Now, how does Sundaram Clayton contribute to skill development and talent cultivation, especially to young professionals entering the automotive and manufacturing sectors?
For us at TVS, a learning culture has been very, very fundamental to how we've built and grown our businesses. It's very much a part of the TQM philosophy that we've adopted, that my father has really been a pioneer of bringing that TQM culture into manufacturing. And a very big part of that is learning and skilling at all levels. So our operators, for example, regularly win international awards for the kind of improvement projects that they are working on. This is across. We work with our GETs, our graduate engineer trainees, to continuously expose them to different kinds of learning opportunities, both academic and very much on the job. This applies across up to the CXO level. Whether it's a CXO, a CEO, or an operators, we continuously work on skilling, unlearning and relearning for the kinds of new challenges that are coming up. And that's a very core part of our value system. You'll also see we have many of our senior management who've come up from very different educational backgrounds. Self-starters who have come up as a DME, who have come up from very different educational backgrounds, not necessarily from your well-known MBA institutes, but that have brought such a learning attitude to the company that they've learned, they've grown, they've become CXOs, CEOs, and that is really, to us, it is a testimony of that culture.
Totally agree, ma'am. Any kind of training or skilling is a very continuous process. But my doubt is, does this also have to do with, high-skilled individuals and their availability in Tamil Nadu?
Absolutely. I think being in Tamil Nadu has been a big benefit for creating such a culture. It's given us a great foundation to create such a culture on. One is, I think our state has had a history of valuing education, a history of valuing skills, vocational skills as well. A very, very positive work ethic, and that's really what has driven this culture. Today, of course, we have a very diverse set of people working here from across the country, across the world as well. But I think being in Tamil Nadu and the culture our state has fostered really enabled us to create this culture, continues to be the core of our culture.
Ma'am, we do know that Sundaram Clayton operates in a global context. Now, how do you navigate the challenges of international business while maintaining a focus on local relevance and impact?
For us, this has actually been balanced by default, as our customer base has always cut across multiple geographies. But I'm also proud to say it's encouraging for all of us in the industry, in Tamil Nadu, in India, to see more and more Indian multinationals coming out of our state, coming out of the country, who are confidently balancing businesses across geographies. And today we are able to take our Indian competencies to international markets and leverage competencies from there that we're able to bring back to strengthen our Indian operation.
Ma'am, in the context of talking about international business, with the advent of Industry 4.0, how does Sundaram Clayton embrace smart manufacturing technologies, and what advantages do these technologies offer in terms of efficiency and productivity? And what role do you think young leaders play in this?
That's such a pertinent subject, because our industry is transforming in the way we produce. And I'm very happy to say that Tamil Nadu is putting a lot of focus on becoming an Industry 4.0 hub as well. The government is doing a lot to make sure that we create that hub in this state, and this is the right state for it, because we have a traditional strength in manufacturing. We were among the forerunners to really set that up in the country, and Industry 4.0 is the next horizon change that is really we're seeing in our industry. We also have the skill set in this state, so it's great to be placed here for both our companies. I 4.0 involves code manufacturing skills, digital skills, and this state is very, very strong on both. You need your operators to work differently, you need your executives, your engineers, your data science, all of it to keep up. TAFE has started this journey quite some time ago, and we've seen some very positive productivity improvements coming out of that. At Sundaram Clayton, this is an exciting time for us. We're moving to a new integrated facility within the state, and I 4.0 has been one of the fundamental features we've embedded into this. We're the first in the country to start a private 5G network in the factory to promote I 4.0. We are working not just on new equipment, but on retrofitting old equipment to make sure that it all goes digital. We can extract our data, look at our data live, analyze our data. Being also a very deep science, metallurgy-based industry, I think it will surely bring a certain depth to the new improvements that we'll bring. So I'm very confident that it's going to bring a change in our productivity, in our quality, and even into some of the innovation, process innovation that we bring to the table. So it's an exciting time.
Just a curiosity, ma'am. For someone young like you, is it difficult to convince senior leadership in embracing advanced technology? How does it happen for you?
Today, I see all my colleagues across companies well abreast of this. They are definitely seized of the need for change. I think personally also, even our older colleagues have in their own families children making very non-traditional choices, very different choices. So it comes both from a professional and from a personal context. Yesterday, I was talking to our head of production engineering at TAFE, and he said, I want to start something called reverse mentoring, where we have for newer technology, some of our youngsters who are really very savvy at it, mentor some of our older executives on how to get onboarded into this.
That's very interesting to hear about reverse mentoring. But a young leader yourself, what strategies do you employ to empower and nurture the next generation of leaders within your organization?
For us, in both companies, we don't look at leadership only at a senior management level. If you truly want to build a sustainable, long-lasting organization over time, leadership has to have depth to it. It has to be cultivated from the shop floor, from your shop floor leadership all the way to your CXOs and CEOs. So that is something we invest in very systematically in terms of identifying talent, creating a career path that will enrich that talent and prepare them to take on leadership roles at every level. Equally, parallelly, it's not only general management, we also do invest in specialist track. We're a very tech-driven company, engineering-driven company. So we also invest in specialist track to create engineering leaders and specialist leaders. So leadership is both in depth, in general management, and on a specialist track. That said, while you do need to do it very systematically, you need your top management to lead from the front on this. So if they have to demonstrate the nurturing of leadership in their teams, and it cascades from there.
Ma'am, as someone who is heading to organizations both heavily on the manufacturing side, how do you see the potential of women in manufacturing?
There's a lot that can and should be done. But that said, Tamil Nadu is best in the country today on this score. Out of all the women employed in manufacturing in India, 43% come from our state. And as a Tamilian woman, I'm quite proud to say that actually. But imagine how much more we can do across the country. We talk of our demographic dividend. Half that dividend is women. So if we don't bring them into the workforce in meaningful numbers and meaningful roles, we are really missing a big engine of growth. If we look at some of the Harvard Business School studies that have been coming out, even the Nobel Prize this year was in this area, it does say that organizations with a greater number of women in executive and leadership positions make far more data-driven decisions and therefore also end up having more meaningful innovation coming out of it. So as a country, as a state, we want to really grow and achieve this $1 trillion economy. We need our women to be in the workforce in order to do that. We not only want to grow as a country in GDP, we need to become a more developed economy, then we need per capita growth. Per capita growth will need women in the workforce. And today's younger men and women, I think, are more progressive. There's a lot more that can be done. It'll have to be a conversation across government, businesses, society, very importantly, and education. And as this generation that's coming into the workforce is really leading some of those conversations. So I think the potential is big. It's very meaningful. And I'll give you a small example just to illustrate this. In Sundaram, Clayton, we recently got a very large number of women who we brought into our manufacturing operations. And recently, I was having a chat with our head of manufacturing saying, we're looking at this new plant. What are some thoughts on our productivity breakthrough initiatives that we currently have on the anvil? And he said, one I want to add is to bring in more women, because we've recently introduced a lot of women into one or two of our plants. And we're finding better productivity, better quality, better safety. And he said, could you work with us to increase the number further? That would really help meet some of our targets. So I think that bears testimony to why companies really could use more women, whether it's at an operator level, whether it's at an executive level. We need that diversity for our own performance and to grow as a country. Absolutely. We're also known for safety. We're socially progressive. It's good on women's safety. And the government has stated an intent to back this further. So we're very well placed.
More to women power everywhere. As a person who's part of companies which have very strong legacy, and also you represent the next generation of leadership, how do you balance honoring traditions with driving innovation and change within the company?
For me, the two are complementary. They go hand in hand and they should create a virtuous cycle. Because our values that come from our legacy, that is our North Star. Through any kind of turbulence, those values don't change. Maintaining trust, whether it's with your customers or your employees, that is a core value for us in both companies. Maintaining a certain quality commitment, which is a part of that, is very much a core value. Caring for and investing in our people is another core value, and these endure over time. Equally, values have to promote agility, and agility is one of our core values. So to me, there is no contradiction. It's a virtuous cycle. You maintain your trust, you invest in your people, you promote agility and innovation. Today, I think that will create a very vibrant company.
That's wonderful, and best of luck for all your future endeavors. Is there anything that we have left out in this conversation that you want to share as a message?
I believe today's India's decade, and Tamil Nadu being in manufacturing, being in tech and R&D is really the state to be in. It's an exciting time. It's up to all of us to see what we make of this opportunity together. And I believe it's a fantastic time to be young in India and to be in business in India.
Yes, indeed. The best time is now. Thank you, ma'am. And once again, all the very best for your journey ahead. Thank you for joining us in this illuminating discussion with Dr. Lakshmi Venu. Her insights into youth leadership and entrepreneurship brings a fresh perspective to traditional industries. We hope this episode inspires aspiring leaders and entrepreneurs to embrace innovation and navigate the evolving business landscape. Stay tuned for more thought-provoking conversation with industry trailblazers on the Tea and Jim podcast series.
The future of growth.